First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side, beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for BDElite. You are listening to us on the Up Next feed on whatever podcast app you're using, and of course,
Twitch.tv/UpNextPodcast and YouTube.com/UpNext. We're
yes,
back.
That's right.
We're back going head to head now. We had a little Forbidden Door moment.
Right.
Now, you got to pick.
Now you gotta or show up at the pay-per-view when all the pillars are realigned.
Exactly.
Hey, welcome. We're Braden and Davie, the BDE. We love talking about wrestling. Of course, we cover Up Next. We cover NXT, on Up Next. And we'll be continuing to do that. But we haven't done a BDElite in quite a while because we've been filling in on post-wrestling Rewind to Dynamite with John Pollock. We've had quite a few fun weeks with Joe Post, so he's still doing the shows, of course, and Mr. Wei Ting will make a huge return at All Out, and mark it off right now because it's going to be a double show. All four of us are going to be talking about All Out, and we're going to be chatting about Worlds Collide as well, but we will be going live for Worlds Collide with a watch along, so follow the socials for all this stuff, but it's going to be a fun little few weeks of wrestling, especially on that September 4th.
That whole weekend, you got Clash at the Castle on the on the Saturday.
Right.
You got Bash at the BDE on the Saturday night.
There you go.
And then,
it's going to be a fun time.
It will be.
Yeah, so we'll be chatting about some Dynamite tonight because what a big edition. Go check out all the other stuff we got going on, including Shot in the Dark. Sino covers AEW Dark. So if you want to know who the Trustbusters are, you can listen and he'll tell you. Or you can watch the show. But
Yeah, Shot in the Dark out today.
Yes.
Just 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And what else has been going on? I
mean,
feel a lot to talk about from this weird show that we had today.
Yeah, it really is a weird show. What's going on? And wrestling fans are like, WWE's good again, and now AEW, there's like all this. What's the backstage drama here, and this, and what's this now, and meetings, and what's is AEW imploding? What's going on? And it kind of we don't know after watching today.
We still don't know.
We do know Jon Moxley is one hell of a man.
Officially recognized two-time AEW World Champion. In a shocking match on tonight's show.
Yeah, we'll definitely be jumping into the whole show because there's a lot to unpack from this thing leading into this big pay-per-view they got coming on. But quickly, we recorded a show just earlier today, best match ever, talking about Rey Mysterio in WWE. We've chatted all through all the years. He's been in WWE for 20 years, and we're chatting all about his WWE matches. We know. We'll get to his outside WWE stuff one day on a show, part 2. But go check that out because it was a lot of fun looking back at some of the Ray on a show that'll be out sometime tomorrow on our Patreon. And go check out all the other shows that we got going on. It's only $5 to access all these other podcasts. But yeah, we were having some Rey Mysterio fever today, watching all these.
Some little hidden gems out there.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed recording that show today, and I know we've got some special best match evers lined up in the next couple of months as well. So we'll be announcing all of that very soon. And then next week we'll be joined by our man Neil to talk about A Few Good Men, which has kind of caused us to be on a bit of a Tom Cruise kick. I hear you finally saw Top Gun.
I did it, guys. I saw Top Gun. I mean, we heard that this movie was so good. I had really no
expectations.
I wasn't like, when this movie was announced, I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I would watch that or whatever. But like, wasn't like, yeah, oh my god, gotta rush to see that. Never saw it. Never went and saw it. And then a few people watched it and were like, whoa, okay, this is pretty good. And then like the reviews came out. It made $1 billion. It's like what, the sixth most highest grossing movie of all time now. It's like, okay, this movie's a pretty big effing movie. Still never went to see it. I usually go to movies with my girlfriend, and she's like, I've never seen the first one. I don't really want to watch it, but like, knock yourself out. So I was like, oh man, okay. So I tell you, Davie, we gotta go see this movie, and you're like, yeah, all right. And you had a day off, and I didn't have a day off. And you're like, yeah, fuck you, I'm going to see Top Gun. So I was like, all right, well, now I just got to go watch it by myself too. So we both saw it separately, but I thought it was awesome.
It was great. Loved it. Glad I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, you convinced me. I was like, it's on digital now. Like, I could probably just watch it at home. And it's like, nah. So I went on Tuesday, half price IMAX. Boom.
Nice.
It blew my mind. What a great... Tom Cruise just coming back. He's like Rey Mysterio. He's coming back at the end of the day. He's still... kicking. Did he get stem cells in his body? He's older.
He is a stem cell, is he? I don't know. He's been the same forever.
Alien.
It was funny. We were talking about this at a bar last night after Up Next, and then this girl next to us just turns and goes, "Are you talking about Top Gun?"
Maverick?
Like, yeah. She's like, "I've seen it 4 times. Let's go to the Cinesphere.
Let's go this Sunday. Are you off?" We're like, whoa.
I'm like, I am off. It's like, let's go.
It's like, damn,
like,
4 times? She's like, yeah, it's. She said it's the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
And then the ads during Dynamite tonight are Top Gun Maverick, now in theaters, but now also digital.
Yeah.
And it's saying the best movie ever made. It's like, whoa, damn. The ad says it. I'm like, wow, that's a bold statement. But it is a great movie. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll laugh some more. Yeah.
I was lacking a bit, like, you can play a certain drinking game with the first Top Gun.
Oh, you can play.
I think it would be a kind of different one for this one.
Yeah, I mean, you still had a volleyball scene.
There was the volleyball scene. Football, wasn't it? Beach football. This one.
Right, it was not volleyball.
Yeah,
true. Yeah. We're giving away key points of the movie, but I mean, at this point, you should go see it. Yeah, it's definitely a good future review down the line. I see them making a few more of these movies.
Maybe.
I like the guy who plays Rooster.
Miles Teller.
Why do I know that guy?
Whiplash.
He's the kid in Whiplash?
He's the kid in Whiplash.
Wow, okay.
He's fantastic. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, that guy lost the part in the Elvis movie, and the guy who got the Elvis movie lost this part in Top Gun.
Right.
So it's crazy. They both, like...
Yeah, Miles, you wonder, like, because he was in the Fantastic Four reboot, which just bombed.
Oh, wow.
But when they cast him, it was like, oh, this sounds quite interesting, because it was him and Michael B. Jordan, right, in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And you go, like, the casting sounded awesome, and then just the film absolutely died.
Yeah.
So I feel maybe that held him back a bit or something.
Damn, okay.
He does interesting films, though. I like him a lot.
No, he absolutely killed it. So did Hangman, which is interesting because we love a Hangman on AEW, but the bad guy and the heel is somewhat Hangman. But yeah, great movie. I would definitely watch it again, and I would say if you haven't and you're like, oh, I'll watch it at home, it is one of the movies you could like watch in the theaters and it'll blow your mind.
Yeah,
for sure. A lot of movies are like that. Like that's how they're saving cinema with these giant movies like that. Like.
Yeah,
you got to. If it's like a movie that doesn't really whatever, just stream it.
Well, that's why I just think there's money left on the table with Dunstan Checks In
2
sequel.
Oh, a reboot?
Right? Or a reboot? No, a sequel would be better.
I feel like a sequel reboot, like at the same time, like a new generation,
like a requel.
We talked about it on our Dunstan Checks In review on Patreon last week that you can check out. And if you don't know what that movie is, you got a lot.
You got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah.
Yeah, get Jason Alexander back. It would be great.
Yeah.
He's probably the best movie ever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I really I told my girlfriend that I went and saw Top Gun without her. I was like, see, I did it. Like I've only ever seen a movie by myself twice now. That's
Twice?
the second time I've always
I fucking love going to the movies.
It's pretty good.
It's
I mean,
great.
I got like extremely Top Gun Maverick high before going, so I did enjoy myself. But I feel like it's fun. It's nice. It's
I love going on there.
You can like check out, and I'm not going on my phone. I'm not doing anything. I'm just chilling.
Well, it's not really social activity, is it?
Yeah, you just like.
Going to sit in silence.
It's not.
Like, why
no.
do you need to be with someone?
Like people like in the world, it's always like, hey, let's go to dinner, and they go to a movie, and it's like, well, you're not gonna.
That you're
Talk
saying
to
like 2 hours, we're not going to talk.
You're gonna like laugh a few times
Yeah.
beside each other in the dark for 2 hours. That might happen if you. Never mind. I feel like cinema's coming back. I'm gonna go see Bullet Train actually.
Okay.
That's my next one.
Nice.
I'm interested in seeing that one. Brad Pitt and Bad Bunny and Samurais. I feel like there is some other wrestling talk. We were talking about how we were at Raw, and go check out all those other shows. But did you see who got in the quite possibly running for feud of the year? Bianca Belair and Air Canada flights.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 3 days, hasn't
3
it?
days.
3 days.
Bianca Belair did not get her bags, so she's pretty pissed. Bianca Bell Air Canada will not be her nickname when she.
I
comes to
mean,
Canada.
bear this in mind. There are a lot of horror stories with Pearson Airport right now. So if you're making plans for like the Toronto shows for Dynamite,
Yeah.
just bear that in mind. Add that to your journey time. Consider checking bags, like not checking bags, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, things are pretty
Look
crazy.
what happened to Bianca, and she's the EST. If that happens to the EST, what's going to happen to you?
I
right?
mean, I'll tell you what happened to me today. I had the craziest thing. I for the life of me, I couldn't find my keys.
I'm so sorry.
I was trying to leave and go for a bike ride today after watching Rey Mysterio matches all day for our show later. And I was like, all right, I got some time. It's a beautiful day. Can't find my keys. I look everywhere. I check the pants, the shorts I was wearing. Check under the bed. I check under the couch. I check under the kitchen. I check everywhere. I pull apart my whole room twice. Spend probably over an hour looking all around everywhere. Can't find it. So you finally come home and you have your keys and you lend me your keys, and I'm like, I must have lost them. I don't know. I check with our concierge downstairs, like, hey, maybe I left them in the building somewhere. I take your keys and I go get a new key cut, but we live in a condo, so we have a fob. So I'm like, do I spend all this extra money to get a fob, or can I get by a few days? Maybe I'll find them, maybe whatever. So I just get the key cut. I come home. We're chilling. As Dynamite's starting, you walk over to me and you go, oh, hey, here's your keys. You son of a bitch.
But why were they in my room?
Yeah, it's a great question. Why were my keys in your room?
They're on my desk. Why were they on my desk?
God damn it. I spent all day. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And you're like, oh, hey, here. Sorry, they're right here. So why did you have my keys?
Why did I have your keys?
Yeah.
Did you put them there?
No.
Why would I put them there?
I almost blame. I'm not even that mad because I'm blaming myself because like I know you not by now. You would do something like that. You would be like, these are my keys, and put them on your table.
They're completely different.
Yeah. So why did you take?
I don't know. I don't know. Very weird. I'm sorry, but it's good. We got a spare key now.
Yeah. So when some friends come by, we can.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
I never knew it was so easy to get a key cut. Like I could just take someone's key and go get it cut, and now I can get into their place.
Oh yeah, I've still got our old place.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, damn, change your locks, people.
Yeah.
Wait, no. All right, well, let's chat about some AEW and some actual wrestling talk.
Do it.
I mean, again, sorry, but jumping before Dynamite, like there is all this talk on everywhere. I mean, wrestling Twitter and Squared Circle Reddit and all that stuff. Everyone's going off about AEW, and people are reporting that there's like a meeting that they're gonna have before the show, and that there's problems in AEW and people are unhappy. And then you got the turn of WWE with Triple H taking over, and like what are any like thoughts from you from just kind of seeing this
Well,
stuff?
we had the I did the show with John last week where we kind of found the whole dropping of Hangman's name a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's come out about that it wasn't scripted and it was kind of a receipt for the workers' rights promo building up to their match at, what was that, Revolution? Is it that one?
Yeah. the last
Double or Nothing. So that kind of made sense because we went, yeah, that was a strange thing to put in that promo and kind of makes Hangman look weak, not coming out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it seems like there's been people who are a bit unhappy, and then it's wrestling. We go, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a shoot that you can then use for a work or whatever?
Exactly.
But there seems to be some, like, we've seen with people like when Janela got released, it's like, there was a lack of communication and stuff like that. And it appears there was some sort of meeting today to kind of be like, hey, we've, like, talk to us. Like, it's an open door sort of thing, is from what I gathered. Because, just more and more reports of people being a bit, like, disgruntled there.
And then Punk kind of saying, like, hey, I'm just trying to sell tickets.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to do. As I think it is. In the world of wrestling, I mean, it definitely, we love this stuff because it is not real. It's suspended belief for sure. And when they are doing, you think, following the MJF thing, people are like, okay, maybe this all is, they're purposely doing this stuff to, like, try to keep kayfabe alive, brother, with, like, that's the new era of generation of wrestling with the internet and all this stuff, right? Like, part of me thinks more people take things and run with it, and then it just becomes, that's, like, what's going on. When if you don't work there, if you don't do things, they could all be like, guys, they're falling for it. Why are people saying this about us? Or why are people saying, all of a sudden Punk is a dickhead for reasons, right? I do find it interesting, but still at the end of the day, I'm like, doesn't this just anything generate more people tuning in to watch?
Yeah, like, for me, I don't really care if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Am I entertained? And I definitely find it more interesting, a lot of these blurred lines things. The whole thing is trying to emulate, like, real sport, right?
Sure.
And you get that. You get legit feuds and stuff between personalities in real life. Like, if you can bleed that over in something like wrestling, which the whole idea is to build a match, I like it. I can see if it comes down to kind of, working people that are working there, that can be a little fucked.
Right.
Because then you're turning up to work and you think that paranoia can set in and, do people hate each other? Like, what's going on? I get it from that point of view, but also I don't really care. I'm watching to be entertained, and I'm entertained by it.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I had so many people talking. You have people like wrestling friends. If they're is this a work? What's going on? Is Punk is mean to everyone, or everyone hates Punk? Like, there's just the way the internet works. But I just see they had a big match promoted this week, and it was a great way to get people to go, well, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna say something? Like,
well, but like the jab was at Hangman. It wasn't building to this match. That's where it was weird, right? Yeah. And I think you can just look at it. We haven't seen Colt Cabana on TV for the longest time, and it seems like he's just ROH now, and he's probably someone who's pretty popular in that locker room, and you can see, like, people being upset with the situation.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. Again, it does make everything a bit more interesting. It makes you want to see the thing. Although they do have a pay-per-view, so it's also like, oh, okay. Like,
well, yeah, and then what we're going to get into later, like, kind of feeds into more questions about everything.
Yeah, question everything. Well, let's chat about some Dynamite from Cleveland. And I mean, CM Punk just doesn't have good luck whenever he goes to Cleveland. We'll explain why. But we start off with Chris Jericho, but no Jericho Appreciation Society with him. He's solo here. He comes down to the ring. He's got great silvery, sparkly boots on, like a rock star. And he says that it was pretty shocking last week when Garcia spun him around and kind of shoved him in Danielson's defense. So he wants Daniel Garcia to come out and have a little chat. So out comes Daniel Garcia. No Jericho Appreciation Society intro, I noticed.
And no entrance. Sports entertainment gear.
No Kangol hat.
Yeah, no Kangol hat. No, like, all in white or
white
like
beater,
that kind of thing. Just in a Buffalo t-shirt.
Buffalo Kids
jeans.
tee, yeah. Shout out the Buffalo Kids. Jericho says, look, you're really great, and you could be even better when you're with me. I just want you out here to apologize to me for last week. Garcia, he's setting this great like emotional tone where he's like more like serious and kind of calm, and he says that I have a wrestling hero, and that hero was Danielson, and last week I had a match with him that some are saying is the best Dynamite match of all time. It could be that. I hung with him for 30 minutes, and well, I want kids one day to feel the same way I felt, and so on from watching that match. And Jericho is like shaking his head at him and berating him and saying, "You're not the best wrestler alive. You're the best technical sports entertainer alive." Out comes Bryan Danielson, who then, in his white tee, comes out. He's like kind of laughing at the whole situation and then says that this is really entertaining. Garcia then shoves Jericho, and Garcia leaves here, leaving Danielson and Jericho in the ring. And Jericho goes off on how you're kind of stealing Garcia away from him, and then mentions how Danielson is supposed to be the best wrestler alive, but Jericho is still wrestling, and he says you don't know anything about wrestling, and mentions the dungeon being the Lionheart, and says that he could teach him a few things about pro wrestling. So this is when Danielson gets hype and gets in his face and says, "Oh yeah, why don't you ask Stu? Why don't you ask Owen? Why don't you ask the people here? They all know that I am the real professional wrestler." And basically like, "I'll beat the shit out of you right now." And that's when he lays out a challenge for a match, and Jericho says, "Not here, but in Chicago at All Out." But then says, "You better watch your back," as Hager attacks Danielson from behind, of course.
Yeah, Jericho kind of holding on to the Lionheart thing as well, last survivor of the Stu Hart's dungeon. I thought Garcia was fantastic here. I thought he really played sort of the dilemma of the situation he's in. Like, Jericho took him under his wing and has helped him and stuff, but I like that you stole that moment from me. It's like, dude, I gotta have a match with someone I respect, and you took that away. I thought he was fantastic. And I like also how even the shove was kind of, it was almost like a mistake again, like last week. It wasn't a full he's punched Jericho. It was Jericho getting in his face and back off. I think I loved all that stuff. I can't say, I think Danielson Jericho is gonna be good, like possibly really good. I find their feud, I don't really care. I'm more interested in Garcia with either Garcia Jericho or Garcia Danielson.
I mean, we're going to AEW Buffalo the week after All Out, so we are hoping for a big Garcia match happening there, or a big Garcia. He'll be like the hometown hero essentially in that. So either Garcia is, I was expecting this to go, Garcia's was goading in Danielson and they beat the shit out of him. That could happen at All Out, and Jericho beats Danielson, and Garcia was like, "Nah, I was just playing. I'm with Jericho actually. Like now I learned some wrestling from you, and I'm staying with Jericho." Or he does go. It reminds me of Cobra Kai, because we got the dojo over here, and then like it is not so much like actual dojo over here, just a bunch of goofballs, and like the kids are like running amok, switching sides, and thinking like it is very like that. So I'm super into this feud, and you know what, Jericho Danielson isn't the match that is like, whoa, that's happening on pay-per-view, but at the same time he's been on a tear.
Both have been delivering. Like I do think it'll be good. It's like maybe a lot of this card, I'm like, I wouldn't maybe go that way, but I'm sure it's gonna be good.
So I'll give it the benefit. I think it could be pretty good.
I did find it weird starting the show with this. It's very rare they start with a talking segment. And if they do, it's normally for like the biggest thing, like the world title or whatever. It felt a little odd being here, but I did like it, especially Garcia. He just continues to impress.
He's definitely one of my favorites lately, and I am one of those people that are telling my friend, I'm like, I think that 2 out of 3 Falls is one of the best Dynamite matches they put on for sure. I really loved it. We go to Jay Lethal versus Dax Harwood, a one-on-one match. We have Dax, who's out there by himself, and Jay's got Sanjay, so I kind of find that's not fair. Like, where's Cash?
Dax didn't.
You didn't want him out.
He didn't care about Sanjay.
Like, don't worry, I got this. Jay Lethal and Dax lock up. Dax gets control, but when Jay Lethal gets him up on the turnbuckle early on, hits a side Russian leg sweep off the top, which looked pretty nice. I know you like that. There was a break when we come back. Lethal still in control. When Dax fights back, hits a German and then another overhead German. But eventually, Lethal fights back with a lethal combination for a near fall. Dax hits him with a slingshot powerbomb at one point, which was a great near fall. Jay gets Dax standing and goes for a dragon screw, but Dax counters this into this incredible countering the dragon screw into like an on top pin for a near fall. Then turns that into the sharpshooter, which was great. Eventually, Sanjay gets up on the apron and he's in the face of Dax when Jay Lethal shoves Dax into Sanjay and then rolls up Dax.
Yeah, headbutt here. This looked pretty good.
Looked like they smacked heads for real. There's a tease where you think Dax actually is getting the roll up, but then Lethal counters the counter and rolls up the tights, and Jay Lethal pins Dax Harwood here on Dynamite. And then they start laughing because they got the one on Dax. But a pretty good match.
Yeah, like Dax Harwood is always delivering in these singles matches, and Jay Lethal, obviously a really competent pro wrestler here. And I didn't think anything blew me away, but I enjoy this style of wrestling. So yeah, it was good. They did look a little, and they kept on putting on commentary. Oh, these guys are quite fatigued. They did get a little sluggish towards the end, but still entertained.
Yeah, Dax is still in the running for me. He's got to be up there for Wrestler of the Year or something. Like, he's just been killing it. Every time I watch him on Dynamite, he's great. And I was a little, I guess, just butthurt that he lost to Jay Lethal on Dynamite. I feel like FTR is not being utilized the best right now. And then my brain would ponder some more things. So they've announced that there's a match at All Out, and it's Wardlow and FTR versus these people in any iteration. But now they come out here. Jay Lethal and Sanjay say, well, you accepted the trios challenge, but it's not going to be against Sanjay or Satnam Singh. It's going to be Jay Lethal versus Wardlow and FTR. But Jay Lethal is going to be teaming with these guys. And, well, no one comes out. They just play a video, and the logo pops up. Motor City Machine Guns. So at All Out, Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR and Wardlow, and also Jay Lethal is on the team of Motor City Machine Guns. So that's the match, which, hey, Motor City Machine Guns coming in, hell fucking yeah, they should have been in here at the Detroit show. But they're teaming with Jay Lethal, it's just a little odd. And them not coming out is also just like, oh, okay. So it was just a really cool moment that felt like they deflated really quickly for me.
Well, maybe they couldn't be there. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, you can't. They're both for pay-per-view, not necessarily being able to get there.
But you're hyped for Jay Lethal, the team with the machine guns?
Look, this is better than what I thought it was last week, you know? Last week we thought it was Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt against FTR and Wardlow, which is a massive fucking waste of these guys. So, in that sense, no, I think this will be pretty good. I am confused why we're going this way.
Yeah.
I don't get the sudden push with Jay Lethal picking up these wins. I can't say Jay Lethal Wardlow is done. Like, Wardlow won. You know, we should be moving on. But I do think it would be more interesting, Lethal and Wardlow in the singles match, and FTR. These two in a tag, especially when we're already going to get a trios match on the show,
and we're probably getting a third because it's probably Sting and Darby and them. So that's already a few. Bunch.
I think it would be a really entertaining match.
Yeah.
Like, Jay Lethal isn't one of my favorites, but the guy can wrestle. Wardlow's been really entertaining, and obviously FTR have been on a tear, and the Machine Guns, that's awesome. I think the match will be great. It's just one of those things where you go, really, is that the hand you're playing?
Yeah.
When you've got this in your hand,
how I feel
and you're
about
playing
it. Yeah.
this?
That's how I feel. Machine Guns are amazing, and I've been waiting to see this FTR Machine Guns tag team match, and I feel like that would be a great place to just do that match, but instead they're bringing them in to team with Jay Lethal.
Have them defend one of their titles.
They own 8 titles. Also, Wardlow's a champion, and he's just in a trios match.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird.
Yeah, I don't get why they're not doing more with FTR right now.
Yeah, they're on fire. Unless, like, is there an injury? Is there a reason? Like, I don't know.
I don't know what. Yeah, no, but they've been having
and
matches.
they're having a match. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I feel a month ago, like, FTR seemed like the hottest thing, and Bucks FTR seemed kind of the way to go.
The main event,
and we've moved away from that. And yeah, they just don't seem quite as important. Not really focused enough, and I don't get all these wins Jay Lethal's getting either.
Yeah, just really odd. No, like, yeah, Fire Frank in the Twitch chat saying obviously they're teaming because Lethal was in Paparazzi Productions. Yeah, I mean that's a long time ago, and then there's no time, but shout out Paparazzi Productions. Yeah, it's just weird. I think the tag match would have been a big thing. People went, "Whoa, that's on a pay-per-view. That sounds good."
I kind of feel, and there are more instances of this, we're still in kind of... Forbidden Door seemed a weird card as well. We ended up liking it. It ended up being a really good pay-per-view. But again, that was going... I know you had the injuries and stuff, but you're doing that match? You're going with that match? Okay. I do feel the same with this. It's... AEW's pay-per-views pretty much always deliver, but for quite a few in a row now, they do seem suddenly really rushed together at the end with a lot of random head-scratching matches.
Yeah. Look, I'm excited for those two guys to show up in AEW, but it's just weird that Jay Lethal... We have so many people, so many young dudes too, and so many other options, and it just feels so weird that we keep going back to this. And I'm not saying Jay Lethal's the worst wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler at all. It's just like, come on, what's going on?
Not interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. He's got Sanjay running around with a pencil. That's the best shit they got. Like, come on. I just want that tag. I wonder if we'll get it at Buffalo. Maybe they'll just be like, here's the tag. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, more head scratching continues as we go backstage to Tony Schiavone, who says he's here with Thunder Rosa, who's got something to say. And Thunder Rosa is just broken down here, really emotional, and says that she has to give up the AEW Women's Championship, and says that she has succumbed to an injury and she will not be able to defend the championship at All Out. So she's given up the title, and she's bawling, she's crying. She says that there will be a match at All Out, and the winner of that will be the interim champion. But yeah, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything in the day about this. So another injury, another interim championship.
Yeah, it's just like nitpicking. She could have been out there with the crowd, even on the stage. But then also they were going back to the interim thing when she says she's given up the title. Well, you're not.
I think she kept going back on herself, and she is, like we've seen in her promos before, she's genuinely emotional when she's cut this. I think it was just kind of that.
Me,
and I get it from her point of view. It is like you're giving up the title. Sure, you're going to come back and you'll have it, but man, I'm on the shelf during my championship reign.
Yeah.
And the advertised match isn't going ahead. So kind of, it sucks, but it actually makes room for a couple of these other women to have a match now.
So
they found Shida.
Hey, Shida's still here.
Yeah.
Fatal 4-Way is announced. Tony Storm, Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida.
What I will say is I like that I know not everyone's about the interim thing, but I kind of feel that's how it should be. Like, I think Finn Balor wins that title and then gets injured and then doesn't even get another shot at it. It should be you come back and you get a shot at it right away.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the interim thing, and I do like how they're at least consistent with it. This is the third time now. They don't do relinquishing. It's we'll have a fake champion for a bit and then we'll unify it. But at least it's something being defended and things. I like it personally.
I don't like. I think it makes sense if you can go back, if you can go to the match quickly. Like, we'll find out why we went to the other one so quickly, kind of. But it felt like it still went on for quite a while because he was away for more than just like a few weeks. But yeah, I mean
that's what you do in in boxing,
of course,
in UFC. So it should be like that.
It just, like, say you're someone like Tony Storm, okay, and you win this match, are you going to be able to tell people you were the women's champ? How does it work?
But again, that's same in sport.
Yeah.
You're the interim champ.
Yeah.
It gives you something else to strive for.
Damn. Interim.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Thunder Rosa is out. We go to our next match, which is Colton Gunn going up against his own father. So it's a father-Gunn moment happening on Dynamite with Billy Gunn taking on Colton Gunn. But the Acclaimed come out because the Acclaimed are back with Daddy Ass, and they scissor Daddy Ass all over television. We have Max Caster rapping. Yo, listen, he makes some mention about how Billy should have worn a condom instead of having kids. And then he says that this match is going to be crazy. Someone's about to call another meeting. So he's making references of the meeting, AEW meeting. And then mentions that he's going to, give it all away like Joe Biden paying off student debt or something like that. You guys are going to pay.
I don't follow the news anymore. I watch wrestling, that's it.
The crowd are over. I love these guys, but I'm a little confused. I'm like, they keep Daddy Ass because they like just think that works best. So they're like, okay, let's actually just go back with them.
I think so.
Okay. So Billy versus Colton. We get Colton kind of being a dick to his dad, stomping him around, but Billy just starts beating him up, whipping his kid around, and then he gets Colton in the corner and he's punching him, and then he stops and he puts his hands on his head like, what am I doing?
What am I doing? He looks at his hands.
I'm beating up my own son? I can't believe this. Why could I beat my own son up? This is when Austin Gunn, ringside, uses the boombox and attacks the Acclaimed. And
it was Stokely, was it not?
Oh, was it Stokely that did it?
Used it.
Oh, okay. And Colton, Austin attacks them as well. This allows Colton to hit a low blow on Billy, and then the Colt 45, and he pins his own dad and wins.
And then signs with
Stokely. Then gives them cards and is like, "See, I can help you." So, yeah.
It was a weird first hour.
Yeah, this really was. This felt like it could have been on Dark.
This could have been on Rampage or something.
The show I don't watch.
Yeah. I've been into these characters.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I don't know. It just didn't do a whole lot.
Because then also, like, the Acclaimed look like they got clowned. Yeah. And then later on, it's like, hey, you want a title shot? So it's just weird.
Yeah.
I thought. But everyone loves the Acclaimed. I liked their jerseys they got now. It looks like AEW is starting to do jerseys. So
the Acclaimed?
They have a Punk one. They got an Acclaimed one, so I feel like a few are coming through. We go to backstage. Tony is with Death Triangle and United Empire because this trio's match is going to happen later tonight. And they mention that we see Will Ospreay and Pac kind of face to face. And they mentioned they had a match recently where it was a 30-minute draw.
No, that they were referencing the Rev Pro match from a few years ago. When Pac was finally free.
Yeah.
But remember, when he was Dragon Gate champion, he didn't lose to anyone.
Okay.
So they booked Ospreay and Pac, and then they had a hell of a match, but it was like a DQ after 30 minutes or something.
Got you. Well, they mentioned that, and they say that's not going to happen tonight, and there will be a winner, and we'll see them later on tonight, which I'm super excited for. We then go to Britt Baker, who comes out, and she's got a match against, I believe, Cleveland's own Kylan King.
Cleveland's own Kylan King. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Kylan comes in with a series of strikes to Britt and eventually hits a German suplex on Britt, but Britt tries to fight back. A cool move from Kylan King here was a wheelbarrow like into a rock bottom. It looked pretty nice. And then Britt kicks out and then hits a super kick and then another like running thrust kick. Gives her the stomp, puts on the glove, lockjaw, and Britt makes King tap out in her own city as they boo and they chant Pittsburgh sucks.
I thought Kylan King actually looked a lot better than, she was on all those darks, wasn't she, for the longest time. I actually thought she looked pretty impressive here, but obviously Britt was going to win. She's the star here, and Kylan's not signed.
Yeah.
But, I thought this was an okay match between the two, but didn't have much interest in it.
Yeah, she didn't look bad. Some cool looking moves, but yeah. Britt then grabs the microphone, and she's allowed to cut a promo. Shits on Thunder
Just
Rosa.
realized this was essentially Bayley and Aaliyah this week.
This match,
Come out.
This match was 30, maybe a minute long, and this was a way better match than Bayley.
No, but I'm saying it's the same
Aaliyah.
thing. It's Aaliyah was the hometown girl, Bayley the big heel,
Yeah.
beats her in a minute,
Damn.
and then same here.
Ding dong. Britt says Thunder Rosa's not the champion anymore, and basically says, I knew she'd crumble and get injured. Of course she would. And she says, now you'll actually give a damn about a match because whoever's in the match is with me, and I'll beat everyone up in this match, just like Tony Storm. So Tony Storm comes out, walks down the aisle, but Jamie Hayter runs out and attacks Tony while Reba's got the Pittsburgh Terrible towel, flying it around. So the crowd is just like even more angry at this act. When Holy Shida, Hikaru Shida, runs down to chase these baddies off. But yeah. This is the match.
She heard she had a match, so just booked it over to the venue. She's like, I'm
I
sorry,
still work here? You
and I've got
booked
a title shot. What?
I don't believe you.
What? Yeah, where do you see this going? Because obviously Mox, when he won the interim championship, he'd already been AEW champion before. So I could see them doing the same here and maybe just going with Britt.
Like, it makes sense because, like, kind of like how I said, like, how are you supposed to get someone to get so excited to win over an interim title if they've never won the title before? So Britt's an easy one to do that with.
Or could you do like Jamie?
Yeah,
and
Jamie's in the match, which is weird. Yeah.
Could you do Jamie and you then you further the tension with her and Britt can be like, well, it isn't the real title, and maybe Britt tries to cash it in for her or something like that. I don't know.
Something like that. Could be interesting. Yeah. So that's the Fatal 4-Way
Or
match.
you just go with Tony Storm and you go to the match you were originally building for.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Britt's still the only like real big star. Tony's good. I feel like Tony could get down the line. I thought Tony was going to turn heel though, so I just doesn't know where we go if Britt's still the top.
You thought Tony was turning heel?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Rosa was.
I thought it was like a snake in the grass, like definitely trying to trick us.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm surprised this wasn't the 9:30 slot.
Right. Well, you had a big title match to get to.
Yeah, the real 9:30 slot, which is the title match. So, well, before that, we get the Acclaimed backstage with Swerve's house. Sorry, what's their name? Swerve in Our Glory. And they basically said, hey, we saw you look like absolute fools out there earlier, so you want a match? And they say, yeah. No, that's not how it goes. But they say, hey, you're actually the number one ranked. You've had the most wins, so it only makes sense that you get a shot at these tag titles. You're worthy of it. And the Acclaimed are kind of like, hey, you know, it's not just because we're worthy, but we are worthy because we earned this. We fight. We've had great matches, so we accept that challenge. And they are getting the match at All Out.
Yeah, weird. I think the Acclaimed have been fantastic recently. Mm-hmm. But it does feel a bit of a cold match between these two.
It feels like if this was the direction, which clearly it wasn't in a while, like a few, since this title changed a bit in the past like few weeks, months or whatever, but if you knew this was the match, you could have made this way more interesting instead of still letting them feud with like the ass
Gun
boys.
Clubs for so long and still feuding with them, it seems. That's what I mean.
It should have been after the dumpster match, they go, yo, Swerve in Our Glory, All Out, we're the number one rank, let's go. And then you have a few weeks of like
I think so.
stuff. So why can't we build to pay-per-views properly?
It is a problem. It has been an issue.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure the show's going to be great because they always are, but it just feels okay.
So we're getting like next week, obviously the Acclaimed are going to rap because both teams are like like the rap now. They both have a rapper in the group. We got Swerve and we got Max. So I mean, you could do some sort of rap off, but they're both baby faces and it's weird. The match would be great, and the Acclaimed are going to step up. They've totally turned people on them so
These
much.
are kind of the people I'm excited for, like Ricky Starks and Hobbs with their match, and the Acclaimed. I think they're the guys. These are kind of homegrown talents that are now getting the sort of big stage to have a match. So I'm excited to see how they do stepping up.
Yeah. Well, now we go to the Undisputed AEW Championship match. The interim world champ, Jon Moxley, with William Regal. They look so great coming through the backstage area together. What a great duo here. And his opponent, the AEW champion, returning after 84 days since his injury, CM Punk. And they also mention on commentary that the last time these two fought was 8 years ago. I'm pretty sure I've seen them fight live in a match. Like, they fought a bunch, I'm sure, in WWE.
Yeah, they were feuding a long time.
Yeah.
The Shield and Punk.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 8 years ago, they last fought. And, well, here in Ohio, which is kind of close enough for Moxley. Where is he from? Cincinnati.
Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cleveland. Cleveland, yeah. So the crowd is super hot for him here. And, well, this match starts off, big fight feel. The crowd is absolutely roaring. I thought this was one of the biggest crowd reactions they've had in quite a long time. And, well, they grapple, they go for it, they start fighting, and Punk nails Mox with a kick, but it goes down and selling that his foot is injured. So Mox takes advantage and starts wrenching and twisting the injured ankle, and then picks Punk up and hits him with a Death Rider. The crowd is going bonkers. He then picks up Punk again and nails him with a second Death Rider. And in like what I think was 3 minutes with all the breaks and stops in between, Jon Moxley is the undisputed AEW champion, and quite a shocker. One of the most epic beatdowns I've ever seen. And for anyone who, including you, Davie, who gives JR some shit, man, sometimes he has gold, because Taz on commentary when this happens goes, Did he come back too soon? What just happened there? And JR says, I'll tell you what happened. He got his ass whooped is what happened. And news.
This reminded me of Goldberg Brock.
This was Brock. This was Brock Cena
in the ACC.
Yeah, this was exactly that. Like, wow.
You can't do this too often, but I love this.
Yeah.
I don't love that we're 2 weeks away from a pay-per-view and I have no fucking clue what the main event is. But doing this once in a while, as we say, this is trying to emulate real sport. And real sports, boxing, UFC, you build a huge match and it can end in 30 seconds.
I mean, it happened to Punk in Cleveland, in UFC.
I wouldn't say that's a huge fight, but it can happen. So I love doing that. I think it is very interesting after all the reports in the last week as well, because it makes you question, okay, why is this? Why are they doing this so quick? Why did they move it from the pay-per-view to here? But I like that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I like that this will be remembered for a long time.
Yeah, it's great.
You've got a story with Punk wanting to go after it again, but now he's been humbled as well. So it's going to be interesting how you can have other characters work with him now, because it's like he's embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
Which is great fuel for like an Eddie Kingston, let's say, who hates this guy, and MJF if he were to come back.
Yeah, I do feel like with all the stuff going around with the Hangman thing last week, with the whole internet going off about what's real and what's not real, Punk is this, Punk that, it is super interesting that this would be the thing that happens right here, right now, and instantly gets all the attention. Like, wait a second, was he not ready to come back? Is he ready? And this is all part of it to hype up the pay-per-view match in 2 weeks. That's what I'm led to believe, is he is ready, but this is some like creative ploy to now Punk next week go, no, give me the shot. How do you get to that if that is the case? Because also you don't have Hangman coming out to challenge Mox. You don't have MJF to come out to challenge Mox now. That would be kind of off. So it only really makes sense if it is Punk Mox.
It kind of has to be Punk Mox, because you've got 1 week to build whatever else is next, and I don't know why you'd want to do that. So Mox wins it in his home state, and then Punk is going for the title in Chicago.
Right.
I guess
and he can win it back in his hometown or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they'll give us the match that time, right?
Yeah,
so, but it's very interesting. I love doing something like this once in a while.
They've done it before with Cody, with Brody.
Cody and Brody Lee.
He came in for the TNT title. So, like, it was smart then, and I think it was pretty smart now. But it is interesting that you're doing it. Last year, they let Kenny lose the Christian before the pay-per-view, and then they had the match again.
But they had a proper match then.
Yeah.
So that was. I'm kind of glad we didn't get the match because you've got so much on the table still.
Yeah.
But it's also great. If you're teasing, maybe he's not ready. He's not ready. This knee.
Yeah.
How's his knee going to be ready in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Story wise,
ankle,
but interesting. I like stuff like this. I like that the internet's talking and having strong opinions.
It was a great
other.
It's a great jump out of your seat moment. Like, whoa, what are they doing?
Yeah.
It was like you said, Goldberg, Brock, or Brock Cena. It was kind of something like that, and definitely adds in with the weaving in of suspended reality of what's real, what's not, with all the stories, with him getting like humbled here. You know, is this like, hey, you know what, Punk? Maybe you shouldn't have said that thing last week. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Because that is something. But either way, they got my attention for the pay-per-view. You already got my attention for the pay-per-view.
So
but...
I did see reported from Fightful that it was Moxley who suggested
this idea,
to move it to today.
I mean, it makes sense because I think this would get people now talking about this, going, whoa, did you see Punk got fucking washed on thing? And then Punk could come out next week and be like, nah, one more time, let's go. Don't give a fuck, let's go. One more time, Chicago.
You bring up the UFC losses about Punk.
Yeah.
In a way, that could. You wonder if Punk. We know he's got an ego and stuff. Prior to UFC, I know he was in WWE and didn't have much to say. But if he'd have been as cool with something like this, whereas now it's like, well, I've had my ass whooped for real in front of millions of people.
Yeah. I
can do it. I can do it in a fake sport. I can do it in make-believe land, for sure.
Yeah, true. We can get to... Let me just jump to the Mox promo, because they come back to it. So I'll go to that to kind of stay on this topic. When we come back after a few different segments of just interviews, they go to Moxley backstage, who says he wants some time. And he says, people said interim, people said it was filling in. Well, you all were writing me off, and look at me now, and there isn't anyone like me. He says, not Punk, not Hangman. I am pro wrestling. I'm not just some guy. I am the guy, and I am the top of this industry. And he says, well, everyone wants to talk about their time is coming. Well, my time is now. And says it twice, actually. So easily you could say he's calling out John Cena.
You could build John Cena in a week.
John Cena versus Mox at All Out. Yeah, I would still... That would be the greatest thing you could do, but no. I actually really liked the Mox promo.
Oh, yeah. I liked his mocking of Punk being best in the world. He's like, best in the world, come on. Lad.
Yeah.
Just ate you up.
Yeah. I actually think this was great because Mox is their guy, and proving this time and time again, you needed this almost to make Mox.
I think it made a lot of sense having Mox win this, actually.
Yeah.
It gives him a bit more credibility, and if he is to drop the title to Punk, even if it is in 2 weeks, I think it solidifies this reign.
Yeah.
Now he's a two-time champion.
It actually is a two-time champ.
It's a legit thing. So I like it. It keeps him being a badass and seems like the guy.
He is the biggest badass in wrestling. I will say. He was never my guy in WWE, but ever since this, I'm like, you are amazing, man. You are exactly on top. Like him saying he's the king of this industry. I'll always say it. To me, Roman is not it for me. He doesn't hit for me. The wrestling never hit. I don't believe anything he says half the time. This guy's yelling at the camera. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking beast. You're like King Kong, man. You're amazing. Love this guy. And I hope this is the match at All Out because they got my attention. I feel like everyone's like, whoa, what just happened last night? What happened on this week? You got to tune in next week. Hopefully they get a big rating from this and next week as well. And then, the pay-per-view. people are going to want to see that rematch. But I got really into we both jumped out of our chairs like, what the fuck is going on? So great stuff.
We knew something was up when they put it top of the hour.
9:30.
Which makes sense. If you put this match on at like 9:53, you'd go, huh.
Yeah.
Something screwy's happening here.
Exactly. Well, good stuff. We go to Christian. I'll go back to miss some of the promos I skipped over. Christian Cage backstage. He's got a neck brace on, I think. He says that he tried to reach out to Jungle Boy to bring him back in, and you slapped him in my face. You spit in my face. You don't want that. You've said a lot of mean personal things about me, Jungle Boy. He says, I may have said some things too, but I'm a living legend, and you want to challenge me for a match? Well, you're going to find out that I'm not average, unlike the people here in Cleveland. So I accept your challenge, and you're going to see what I am capable of for real. So Jungle Boy Christian at All Out.
I'm glad we didn't get any Jungle Boy this week.
Yeah.
We were saying last week how this feud's ready. It was ready weeks ago, and they've kind of been treading water and trying to find things to do. So I like that this week it was just Christian. Yeah, all right, we'll have the match. All Out.
Yeah, I also, like, you could have Christian do something dastardly next week to kind of whatever, but a lot has already been said.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you tried to kill me. Like, we've already got to that manslaughter attempts. This is when we go to Ricky Starks, who comes out to the ring. He's cutting a promo. He's finally got some things he wants to get off his chest. He says, I'm hurt and I'm pissed off. He says, first I had to deal with not winning the tag titles. Then I had to deal with Hobbs. Then I had to deal with the factory and QT Marshall. And he says, like, I've been dealing with injury and I come back and this is all that happens. He says, but I am hurt and I am pissed off at you, Hobbs, because I'm the one who brought you here. Before me, you were just security for Britt Baker. I made you what you are. I brought the camera was on me, the lights were on me, and I widened the lens so you could fit in too. When I ate, you ate. You were my friend. And on top of that, when you hurt me and attacked me from behind, you knew you attacked my injured neck. And, well, I just can't bring myself to come to that. So you better bring your $5 ass to Chicago at All Out and fight me like a man. So the challenge is laid out for Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs at the pay-per-view.
A little Cody shout out in here as well. He said, when I saw you turn on a nightmare, I should have seen it coming to me, because remember Hobbs was originally with Cody and turned on him to join Team Taz.
Oh, okay.
So he's referencing that with the nightmare line. I like this. It kind of... What I like about this is it's not just, oh man, you turned on me. It was the specificness of the neck.
Yeah.
Like, you deliberately hit my neck. Like, you weren't just like, this shit's over, I'm dumping you. You deliberately targeted my neck, which could, like, paralyze me.
And you know
end
that.
my career. And you knew that, and you did that, so fuck you.
Yeah.
I love that, like, layer to the promo. He's great. Ricky Starks, we've said since day one, really good talker, and now that he's got the crowd on his side as a babyface, I think it's really working, and I really hope these two go all out. It's a pardon pun, but like I think these are the guys that are really going to want to like show up and prove themselves. I think
for sure,
both their first big singles match on a pay-per-view. Yeah,
big highlight here. Really great promo, and I am interested in this match. I think both of them are great up-and-coming talent here that are some of the homegrown stuff that it's just been really good. We get a recap of Kenny Omega coming back last week for the Trios tournament, and leads us into Don Callis joining commentary here, and he says he's doing some scouting, which is quite interesting. The match, the main event, Death Triangle, Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, and I swear I'm trying to remember these guys' names. Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher's the smaller guy.
And Mark Davis
is the big guy.
Got it. See, I'm learning. Well, this match just sounds nuts.
Kyle Fletcher just looks like a Kyle.
That's why it's
That's
easy.
the way to
Fletcher.
remember it. The guy who looks like a Kyle is Kyle.
The guy with the stash is Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I mean, this sounds crazy. Ospreay in the ring with Rey Fenix, in the ring with Pac, Penta, and Aussie Open are no slouches either. So honestly, this had my full-hearted attention. This starts off, and it's already wild. Will Ospreay and Rey Fenix just go flip for flip here, countering everything, handstands, backflips, kip-ups, all that stuff. We get Death Triangle, who eventually send all three to the outside and hit stereo dives, which is nuts. During the first picture-in-picture, all guys are still fighting. Everyone's beating up everyone. When we come back, Ospreay hits a sky twister off the top to everyone. This is just a corkscrew plancha, which is crazy. They then hit a rocket launcher, where it's like the two guys throw Will, who's already running at the Penta, into the corner. There's then Aussie Open, who are double teaming on Rey Fenix, and they meant to do the spot where Rey Fenix ducks, so they hit forearms, but I think one of them did it when they were supposed to hit the move, so the one guy's selling the arm and then realizes, oh, we got to do that.
They also kind of didn't quite hit Phoenix either, because Phoenix half ducked, so it was just like...
So they just redid the spot, which is fine. But
in this case, just made it look
a little like
worse.
It looked fake. But
whereas if they did it the first time and just sell it. Okay, that was weird.
Eventually, Penta's tagged in with the hot tag and hits some craziness. There's like a roll through into this crucifix, like jumping off guys' backs and just nuts. Pac is in. He hits a German suplex to Will Ospreay here, just sending him into the Shadow Realm. And then, he's going for a German, but Will is holding onto the ropes. So Rey Fenix runs across the ropes, PKs him. That's what I mean. Will just looked like his soul left his body as he gets Germaned by Pac. Eventually, all of the guys are in the ring, and there's Poison Ranas in stereo. Probably like 4 different Poison Ranas at the same time.
It was Ospreay and Pac doing a double. You know, like Cameron Grimes does the double Rana to 2 people.
Yeah.
They both did this. So
but like Poison Rana.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest wrestling move of all time. So it's...
And then Ospreay and Pac just having this great stare down as everyone else is dead around them.
Oh, man, it was sweet. So then Pac and Ospreay go at it here. There's Germans. There's counters for counters. Ospreay eventually hits a huge Os Cutter, which is just nuts. There's then Avalanche Brainbuster from Pac on Will. I mean, what? That's nuts. A brainbuster from the top? Craziness. Rey Fenix eventually gets flipped and does like a super avalanche springboard Rana on Will, but he lands on his feet like nothing. It all breaks down when all 6 guys are just losing. There's just finishers, there's spamming everything. It's just craziness. It's amazing. There's then Pac, who hits a moonsault off the post to the outside onto everyone. And then, when he's ringside, we see the man in the box, Kip Sabian. He wears that stupid box on his head. He stares at Pac. Pac decides, you know what? I shouldn't pay attention to this match that I've spent the last 20 minutes working really hard in. I'm going to go take this cardboard box off Kip Sabian's head because he's been bugging me. So he does, but when he takes off the box, it's just some guy who's got a black eye and duct tape on his mouth, revealing Kip Sabian attacks Pac from behind when everyone goes, who's that? And, well, the ref did not see any of this because they're busy checking on Phoenix for probably what seemed like 5 minutes. When we look back in the ring, we get Penta sent to the outside. Rey Fenix is isolated with Aussie Open and Ospreay, and they hit this like super Os Cutter and put him to bed. So Ospreay, the United...
it's Aussie Open holding up.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Was it Pac who took the fall here?
It's Rey Fenix.
Rey Fenix, yeah. And then the Os Cutter.
So, yeah, the United Empire advance here in the Trios tournament. But this match was awesome, and then the finish just made me go, of all the time, do it after the match. Do it, like, what?
Yeah. Weird. It wasn't needed at all.
No.
This match was great. You could have... Death Triangle can lose clean, I think. Like, you're hyping up Ospreay to go against Kenny. So it doesn't matter if these guys take a clean loss, really.
Yeah.
We see them lose all the time. You don't need Kip Sabian to kind of fuck this match up.
Yeah, but he did.
But that aside, awesome match. I wish at times, because Ospreay is, we all know who he is, but I don't know, he's a new character in AEW, right?
Sure.
So you've got to assume there are people watching who don't know who this guy is. And I think commentary did a great job of being, of putting him over. Like Taz was just going, nah, I don't care what people say. Like, this guy's a stud. This
Yeah.
guy's amazing.
Yeah.
JR constantly going,
Sign this guy.
we need this guy under contract.
Sign this guy.
We need
Sign
this
this
guy
guy.
under contract. I just wish because the moment he did that like super Rana from Ray when Ospreay landed on his feet, you could see the crowd going nuts. Shoot it. It makes it feel so much better when you
Yeah.
then do that pan out. Because I could see in the background people were on their feet for that.
People
It's
never
like,
seen that before.
You
yeah.
need to catch that, because if you're watching this for the first time and you see this guy do that and this crowd react that way, it just makes him seem even cooler.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I thought the match was excellent apart from the Kip stuff. And Don Callis just constantly on commentary bringing up kind of how Kenny was selling out the dome and this kind of stuff, and said he's being complimentary of Ospreay as well.
Yeah, he was.
There are like some backhanded compliments, like
Yeah.
little digs, but he's also, when Ospreay's like eating these super kicks and stuff, goes, well, that's something Kenny said to him when Ospreay was a junior. He's like, you're really good, kid, but you need to build up your resilience, and I can see that right now. Yeah.
They also mentioned, like, Don, like you said, is saying things to Ospreay, saying things about Ospreay, but then also being like, hey, he's pretty good. I mean, obviously, we're going to that match. I don't think that's the pay-per-view match, but Grand Slam easily could be Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega. And I could see Don Callis aligning himself with Will Ospreay. I feel like that'd be a cool swerve.
I could see that. It's whether...
Ospreay's hanging around.
Yeah, it's whether that is, because I don't know if Callis is going to be wanting to fly to Japan and
Fair enough.
UK and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So how down the line maybe, or if you know you've got a commitment from Ospreay
Yeah.
and a deal worked out where he can pretty much be an AEW regular under New Japan contract, I think that would be a great move.
Yeah.
I think because it feels like you're going to be moving Kenny and the Bucks babyface anyway. So
Exactly.
you can't have Callis hanging around with him. So I think that would be a cool thing to do. But yeah, it depends if we're getting a lot of Willie.
I do think that'll be the Grand Slam match. Clearly, they're teasing it.
It makes
in
sense.
This match. They mentioned they've only fought once. It was at PWG.
Yeah.
So I think like 2015.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's on DVD now, something like that. But
Yeah. So, but that I guess. So I still probably think it's Dark Order against
yeah,
the Elite,
yeah, it's that.
and then you could maybe even have Ospreay costume that or something to set up the Grand Slam match. Or
Fair enough. Yeah, he could show up at the pay-per-view and cost him that match, and then that's what sets up Grand Slam in a few weeks later, right? In like probably
like
2 or
2
3
weeks.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked this match. Obviously, Ospreay and Rey Fenix in a match, just going nuts with each other, was crazy. Yeah, this match was awesome. And then Kip Sabian shows up. Dude, this guy was wearing the box outside of Grand Slam last year as his head. They've been waiting this long for him to take off the box, and this was the reveal.
And did it
What's
hit?
in the box? And this is when they chose to do it. What a flop, man. No, just terrible. And I'm not even crapping on Kip Sabian just to crap on Kip Sabian, because, like, he could prove himself, sure, but was this the right time?
We haven't seen him for forever.
Exactly.
Like, we don't know.
Cool, he looks cool, but like, is this what was really needed at this point? If you were gonna do it this route, you needed to show him attacking Pac, not on Dark and all this stuff. You need to show this on Dynamite. You need to explain like this, and don't just go, well, he's been doing it on Dark. No. You just interrupted a big match. You need to be...
They have shown us this feud over the last few weeks.
Yeah,
they
but-
have been.
But no, this ain't.
But
it
this
wasn't
isn't
it.
the time
Yeah,
to
it
do
wasn't
it.
the time to do that. And now what? That's your all-out match, the All-Atlantic title, Kip versus Pac for the buy-in.
Oh, in a buy-in or something, maybe.
It's not on the pay-per-view. It should not be.
I don't think it'll be on the
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
So yeah, Kip doing that was just a little weird, but overall the match was crazy. Overall, the highlight obviously was Punk and Mox, just with that crazy epic encounter there, where now Punk we're like all like, what's gonna happen? Easily the best part of this show, and a crazy moment in AEW history. Really, it was just awesome. But I also like the stuff what's going on with Danielson and Garcia and Jericho, and I like how we kind of know our all-out card. It's like kind of coming into place, minus the main event. but we kind of can put it together.
Very weird episode, I thought.
Yeah.
Entertaining as always. The main event was the 6-man was easily my match of the night. But the Punk and Mox stuff is interesting. Can't say it definitely wasn't one of my favorites. I can see people who possibly did not like this episode. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think there's a lot of, all right, there's initial reactions we can have to some of these things. How about we let it play out? Because I think AEW have been good at letting things play out and actually being afterwards just going, oh, that was pretty good. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm not jumping to any crazy conclusions, but
yeah,
I also would like to know the main event.
I thought it was a confusing episode too. There was a lot of stuff that was like, okay, but also really enjoyed the main event. But does this mean next week that the trios, that means Ospreay and Kenny are in a match then?
Next week, I guess. That's the way the brackets are, right? So
Rampage is House of Black versus
Dark Order.
Dark Order.
Where they haven't shown it's Reynolds and Silver.
Yeah, and they haven't told
and
us.
They've blanked out whether it's...
So it's Hangman.
Well, I think... Because Hangman said it's not. So I think you could have, though, like 10 or Uno in that role.
Miro.
No.
Because he's beating up the House of Black.
No. No, I'm saying you could have one of Dark Order in it, and then them taken out before All Out, and then Hangman's got to step in that role.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But next week is United Empire versus the Elite.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Will Ospreay and Kenny's happening next week. So there you go. We'll see it in a trios match, which clearly should be the main event, which will probably be even crazier than this match. But there's a lot going on. I mean, All Out looked taking shape. There's also the Casino Ladder match, which is what, like 8 people in that match. The winner gets a title shot.
Winner gets a cock ring or something usually, isn't it?
It was last year when Hangman won it.
Okay.
So I mean, right?
That was was that an All Out? There was a ladder match on All Out?
I don't remember.
Wait, I don't know. I was at that show.
There's the 6-man tag. There's then the Fatal 4-Way women's. There's the Casino Ladder. There's the Danielson Jericho, the tag title match, Jungle Boy Christian, Starks, and Hobbs.
All right.
So it's already a pretty packed looking pay-per-view. But we'll be back next week to chat all about some Dynamite. And then the following week we'll be at Dynamite in Buffalo. And I mean, by the time you're listening to this, any Toronto people, get those tickets or let us know if you got some tickets for Dynamite and Rampage in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
In October. So
good luck everyone buying.
By the time you're listening to this, we'll be really happy or really upset.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know how things go. Follow the socials.
We'll be in that building either way.
Yeah, exactly. So look forward to all that. Check out all the other shows. Patreon.com/upnext, of course. And hey, ProWrestlingTees.com/upnext while we're at it. Go check out one of our t-shirts. But that's it. That's all. We'll see you next week. And then, of course, for All Out and the Post Pillars show that we got going on. But we appreciate you listening. I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me Twitter and Instagram. I am at TheBrayD.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And the wild thing is undisputed.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite.